There is a part of you that is always watching, always present, untouched by the rise and fall of emotions, thoughts, and sensations. Most of the time, we are so absorbed in our experiences that we forget this presence. We get swept into the currents of anger, joy, sadness, or desire, and in doing so, we identify completely with what is happening in the moment. But if you look closely, you will notice that behind every thought and emotion, there is an observer. This observer does not judge, it does not cling, it does not resist, it simply notices. And in that noticing lies immense freedom. When you step into the role of the witness, you create space between yourself and the constant activity of the mind. Imagine watching a storm through a window. The thunder may crash, the rain may pour, the winds may howl, but you remain safe and still within the shelter of your home. In the same way, when you observe your emotions instead of becoming them, you find yourself in the quiet center, untouched by the turbulence. Anger may pass through you, sadness may visit you, but they no longer define you. You recognize them as passing clouds in the sky of awareness. This shift into witnessing is not about suppressing or avoiding your emotions. It is not about pretending to be detached or unfeeling. It is about embracing the full spectrum of human experience while remembering that you are more than what you experience. You can allow anger to arise without becoming angry. You can allow fear to arise without becoming fearful. You can allow joy to arise without clinging desperately to it. The observer within you sees it all with equanimity, and in that seeing, every experience becomes lighter, less binding, less karmic. When you cultivate the habit of observing, reactions lose their power over you. The moment you notice a reaction arising, you shift from being the actor on the stage to being the audience in the theater. You watch yourself feel, you watch yourself think, and you realize you are not bound by the script. This awareness dissolves identification with old patterns, and once you are no longer identified, transformation becomes possible. Think of how liberating it feels to realize that you are not your anger, not your jealousy, not your fears. These are visitors that come and go. The observer remains. And when you live from the perspective of the observer, you no longer feel trapped in the endless cycle of cause and effect. You see the space in which choice exists, the space in which freedom is born. This is not something distant or abstract. At any moment, you can pause, take a breath, and shift your attention from the thought or emotion itself to the one who is aware of it. That simple shift reveals a quiet presence that has been with you all along. And in that presence, you discover a peace that no reaction can disturb. So when life storms arise, remember to rest in the awareness that observes it all, for in that awareness you will always find your freedom. Emotions are powerful forces that shape the quality of our lives. They move through us like waves, sometimes gentle and nourishing, sometimes overwhelming and destructive. Most of us have been taught to either cling to them when they feel pleasant or resist them when they feel uncomfortable. We hold tightly to joy, fearing it may slip away, and we push anger or sadness aside, hoping they will disappear. But both clinging and resisting keep us trapped. The truth is, emotions are energy. When left unobserved, that energy becomes tangled, heavy, and often destructive. But when embraced with awareness, emotions transform into guides, showing us where growth, healing, and evolution are possible. Think of anger. It often arises quickly, taking control of our words, our tone, even our body. Left unchecked, it creates harm in relationships and leaves us with regret. But when you observe anger without judgment, you begin to see it differently. You see that beneath anger is often a sense of hurt or unmet need. With awareness, anger becomes an invitation to patience, to clearer communication, and to compassion for yourself and others. It is no longer something that chains you to the past, it becomes a teacher pointing you toward balance. Fear, too, has its lessons. When fear takes over unconsciously, it limits our lives, keeping us from stepping into possibilities. But when you sit with fear and observe it without running away, you realize it carries the potential for courage. Fear is the energy of expansion knocking at the door of your comfort zone. By being aware of it, You turn what once felt like a wall into a doorway. In this way, fear ceases to be a prison and instead becomes the power that propels you toward growth. Even pain, whether emotional or physical, holds within it the seed of transformation. Pain often asks us to slow down, to listen deeply, to recognize what in our lives is out of alignment. It is never easy, but when seen with awareness, pain softens into wisdom. It teaches resilience, empathy, and compassion. It teaches you how to hold space not just for your own suffering, but for the suffering of others. What once felt like a burden becomes a bridge that connects you more deeply with humanity. Every emotion, when witnessed with presence, undergoes this alchemy. The raw energy that once weighed you down becomes fuel for awakening. The same energy that once created cycles of reactive karma now becomes a force for conscious evolution. You begin to see that nothing is wasted, nothing is meaningless. Even the darkest emotions carry light within them, waiting to be revealed through awareness. So instead of fearing your emotions or trying to escape them, welcome them as travelers passing through. Greet them with openness, observe their message, and allow them to transform. In this way, every emotion becomes a step on your path, every reaction becomes an opening, and every moment becomes an opportunity to evolve. And when you learn to embrace emotion as energy, you discover that what once bound you in cycles of karma can now set you free. Every reaction you have, no matter how small or fleeting, carries within it the seed of karma. Karma is not simply some distant consequence waiting to unfold in another lifetime. It is the living energy of your choices in this very moment. When you feel irritation rise, when you feel joy expand, when you speak in anger, or when you extend kindness, each of these moments is planting a seed in the fertile ground of your consciousness. Most of the time, we are unaware of this subtle planting. We act, we speak, we feel, and then we move on. But life does not simply move on. Life records, life mirrors, life reflects. The quality of the seed you plant through your reaction determines the kind of fruit you will eventually harvest. Think for a moment about how quickly you react in daily situations. Someone cuts you off in traffic and you flare with anger. A colleague receives recognition and you feel jealousy stir. A loved one speaks harshly and you react with defensiveness. These moments seem small, but they are not insignificant. They ripple through your body, through your mind, and through the field of your relationships. The more you repeat them, the stronger those patterns become until they feel automatic, almost as though you had no choice. But you do have a choice. The power lies in awareness. When you begin to notice the instant of reaction, you enter into a new relationship with yourself. Instead of being a prisoner of unconscious habits, you become the one who sees, the one who notices. And in that seeing, a new freedom arises. If you catch the irritation as it sparks, you have the chance to decide, will I allow this spark to ignite into flames, or will I breathe and let it dissolve into space? If you catch the jealousy as it stirs, you can choose to transform it into gratitude or inspiration. Awareness does not erase the initial impulse, but it transforms your relationship to it, and this changes everything. Each reaction is a seed, but awareness is the soil that determines how that seed will grow. Without awareness, seeds of anger, fear, and judgment find fertile ground to root deeply. With awareness, even a negative impulse can be seen, held, and transformed before it takes shape. The reaction then becomes an invitation, not a destiny. Imagine how different your life feels when your moments of irritation become openings to patience, when your moments of doubt become reminders of inner strength, and when your moments of pain become gateways to compassion. This is how karma is transformed through the simple act of watching your reactions. You are not here to be ruled by your reactions. You are here to awaken to them, to see them as the signals they are. Each signal points you to the unconscious patterns still shaping your life. Each signal is an opportunity to step out of old cycles and into new awareness. When you live with this clarity, karma is no longer a chain that binds you, it becomes a path that frees you. And so in every moment, life offers you a seed. Watch it closely, plant it consciously, and allow it to grow into the garden of peace you wish to live in. Most of what we call our daily life is a continuous stream of automatic reactions. These reactions are shaped by years of conditioning, memories from childhood, cultural influences, emotional wounds, and unconscious habits. When someone criticizes you, your body may tighten before you even think. When praise comes your way, you might feel a rush of pride that overtakes you. These are automatic patterns, deeply ingrained, and while they may feel natural, they often rob us of the freedom to choose how we wish to live. The true power of awareness lies in interrupting this automatic flow and creating space between stimulus and response. It is in that space that transformation occurs. Think of the moments when anger rises quickly, when you lash out before considering the weight of your words. In that instant, the reaction feels inevitable, almost as though it was decided for you. But with awareness, you can pause. That pause is not weakness, it is strength. It is the silent recognition that you are more than your conditioned impulses. In that brief moment of stillness, you open a window for clarity to enter. You can ask yourself, is this reaction aligned with who I truly want to be? Is it going to create harmony, or will it perpetuate conflict? Every pause you take dissolves a layer of unconsciousness. Instead of being carried away by the wave of habit, you learn to ride the wave with grace. You may still feel anger, but you are no longer possessed by it. You may still feel fear, but it does not dictate your choices. The shift from automatic reaction to conscious response does not require you to suppress your emotions or deny your humanity. It simply asks you to meet each emotion with awareness, to give yourself the space to decide what to do with the energy that arises. In that space, something profound takes place. The old chain of cause and effect, which we often call karma, begins to loosen. No longer are you bound to repeat the same cycles of hurt, blame, or regret. Instead, you begin to create new patterns, responses born from love, patience, and understanding. This does not happen all at once. It happens moment by moment, choice by choice, as you cultivate the habit of presence. Even the smallest pause can change the course of a conversation, a relationship, or a day. When you hold back from speaking words you might regret, when you choose to listen instead of argue, when you soften instead of harden, you are reshaping the fabric of your life. You are saying to yourself and to the universe, I am not merely a product of my past. I am a conscious creator of my present. Over time, this practice brings a deep sense of freedom. You no longer feel like a puppet pulled by unseen strings. You become the one who holds the strings, the one who decides how to dance with the unfolding of life. And in that dance, every step you take becomes a conscious expression of who you truly are. So the next time you feel the pull of an automatic reaction, remember that a single breath, a single pause, is all it takes to turn reaction into choice and choice into freedom.